Well, we are in the midst of another massive recall effort, and it's getting complicated pretty quickly.
You got to break it all down. UW professor Charles Franklin, it's like 911 Charles Franklin.
Yeah.
So this is a question we have among ourselves. How do you know if you're signing the right petition and the people that come knocking on your door are legitimate signature
Well,
gatherers?
under normal circumstances, we wouldn't think that's an issue. I think, in effect, you have to have some trust in the people that are passing the signatures around, and the signature petition gatherers are at least under some obligation not to lie to people when they sign the petitions.
Will they, how do you, the joke that you say in Chicago, vote early and often. Well, sign early and often. I mean, will they be looking at every single one of these signatures?
Yes. One of the things that was done during the Senate recalls was that each signature line was made into a computer database.
Oh, okay.
And so they could sort them, check for duplicates, and then validate the signatures against voter registration records. And while there's enormously more signatures required this time, over 500,000, I'm pretty confident that will be done this time again.
How successful do you think that this is going to be?
You know, that's really the big question going into the drive. I think the best evidence for it without political spin is how many signatures were gotten for the Senate recalls over the summer. And those averaged a bit over 20,000 signatures per Senate district. There are 33 Senate districts, times 20,000 would be 660,000, which would be well over the 540,000 minimum that's needed. So I think that's the reason to believe that it's possible to find that many supporters willing to sign the petitions. But it's also an issue of organization. Do you have the people on the ground to circulate the petitions? Statewide, you need to take in about 10,000 a day. That's an enormous number. But we've seen the pro-recall forces establish offices around the state, do a lot of training sessions. You know, you were asking about getting the signatures. One of the things the collectors have to do is get the signature to be valid. So it has to be legible, it has to have a clear address, certain things have to be filled out on the form. And that requires the organization and the training to make this work.
To counter this, does Governor Walker now essentially run for election?
Well, it appears that that's the approach. I understand there was the first advertisement last night on this, arguing that he's done a good job, he's achieved the goals that he wanted, and implicitly, therefore, doesn't deserve to be recalled. So I do think we will see a counter signature campaign on the airwaves, at least, over the next 60 days until those signatures are due. At that point, the signatures will be turned in, and that triggers the process of validating them, which we'll wait until January to worry too much about that.
And I'm sure we'll be seeing you again sooner than later. All right, Professor, thank you very much.
Thank you.